At the start of the season, every team set their sights on this race. 35 races later, it's down to an Elite Four.
It was a really odd final race because everybody at the ball was named Cinderella. You know, you had Kevin Harvick going for a second consecutive championship. You had Jeff Gordon trying to exit the sport as a champion. You had Martin Truex Jr., who was the ultimate underdog with the little tiny single-car team. And then you had Kyle trying to author the ultimate comeback story, not in the history of our sport, but in my opinion, in the history of sports, period.
400 miles, 267 laps to determine a champion.
There was definitely a lot on the line at Homestead, but I told Samantha, there's no greater storyline than mine to be able to go out and win the last race of the year, to win the championship, and to just, boom, punch that Hollywood movie script.
Busch didn't need to win the race to become the Sprint Cup champion. In fact, going after a win too aggressively was at odds with the greater objective, to simply finish ahead of the other three Chase drivers, which would be enough to take home the trophy.
In the final race of 2015, the green flag is in the air.
There was a time in the race in which I think Jeff Gordon was leading. We were all right there together with one another.
All four championship four running in the top five.
As the race progressed, those guys kind of fell back a little bit, and I was a lead dog in the fight for the championship.
Keselowski leading the race, Kyle Busch leading the championship four.
And towards the end, 20 to go, I'm actually catching Brad. And crew chief Adam comes over the radio and says, hey, bud, you know, you don't have to win this thing in order to win the championship. You're good where you're at.
Do not let the two get too greedy here. Run your race.
I was probably making him more nervous that I was wanting to win the race rather than just concentrating on winning the championship.
One lane, get it. All right.
Keselowski and Kyle Busch, nobody's going to give an inch now.
With 10 laps remaining, a small amount of debris led to a questionable yellow flag.
So now the caution will come out. Debris on the racetrack brings the caution in.
With Busch cruising toward a second-place finish and a Sprint Cup title, it was an unwelcome caution for the 18.
This is a race-changing caution.
All right, pits will be open.
It may be a championship-changing caution.
All right, I'll be coming on down here.
That kind of bad break might have derailed Busch earlier in his career.
Easy, here.
Instead, Busch's boss took note of his driver's cool-headed reaction.
In the past days, had they called a caution and there wasn't a big wreck or something, you would have heard about it. You know what I mean? He would have gone off at that point. And actually, when that happened, I was the one that went off. I was freaking out.
Race leader Brad Keselowski chose the inside restart position, which meant Kevin Harvick, the only driver still in position to take the title away from Kyle Busch, would line up directly behind the 18.
The outside line was prevailing on restarts, and yet Brad Keselowski chooses the inside line.
So I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting. We'll see how this plays out.
Green flag back in the air.
I could mirror drive. I could see if he was going high or going low, so I could try to block him.
Front of the pack, around the outside. Kyle Busch is your leader to the back straightaway.
So you stay focused up front. We got your back here.
His closest competitor, just a dot in the rearview mirror.
Ain't gonna get to you. Bring it home, champ.
No one has battled through as much pain and had as much perseverance as 30-year-old Kyle Busch.
We did it, guys.
Kyle Busch, I love you, man. I've never seen anything like it.
Tonight he earns his first Cup title. Kyle Busch, the 2015 NASCAR Sprint Cup champion.
Yeah, you guys are awesome! Woo! Oh my God!
During the closing laps, Kyle was singing Brexton's favorite show, Vocabulary, which is this parrot that teaches different vocabulary words.
I knew I needed some sort of avenue to get my mind off winning a championship and getting nervous and doing something stupid. So I was just singing as the race was kind of winding down, you know, vocabulary.
Vocabulary! Vocabulary!
You just sang it over and over and over again in order to take my mind off of other stuff.
During those closing laps, sorry, I cry.
Well, don't tell me you're gonna cry.
I'm trying not to ruin my makeup. He just went through so much, you know? He I don't think people know how hard he had to. Just watching him try and take a shower and get out of bed and walk. And it was so hard for him. And so when he took that checkered flag, it was just, it made it the whole year. It just ended on such a high note that started out so bad. And I'm just really proud of you. See, I told you you'd cry too.
I think there was a lot of things that kind of happened this year that maybe changed me a little bit, becoming a dad. You know, now I've got someone that really relies on me. The blessing in disguise of the crash in Daytona and having the strength to power through the times in which your body's telling you to stop. And whether that's all just a part of growing up and maturing through these past 8 years of being at Joe Gibbs Racing, or the 5 years that Samantha and I have been married now, I think it all just goes together.
Hey, give me a hug.
I love you, buddy. You're my hero, man. Thank you so much.